Hello. So usually I do videos about obscure level design things, but today I'm doing a video about a different obscure, hopefully interesting thing. I wanted to talk about Oni, the best game by Bungie, the folks behind the Halo series, but also and especially about the mod community surrounding it. If you're in that community, I'm probably going to get some things wrong, so hopefully that's not too frustrating for you. So before Halo and after Marathon and Myth, Bungie opened a new studio called Bungie West, which as far as I can tell just made Oni and then closed. It's kinda hard to find stuff out about. Oni was in development around the same time as Halo and ended up coming out around 9 months earlier. It's a third-person shooter brawler anime and John Woo-inspired thing set in one of those super polluted, vaguely Orwellian futures with the classic cop coming to realize the cops are the bad guys plot. It's still super playable today and has some of my favorite third-person movement and combat of any game ever. It integrates guns and punchy-kicky combos and general movement together really seamlessly. You can also discern some stylistic similarities to Halo, most obviously the awesome soundtrack, which is by the same composer. I guess it was reasonably but not sufficiently well received, according to Wikipedia, partly because they cut a multiplayer mode everyone was psyched about. I don't think it was much of a commercial success, but it had some super devoted fans forming nice little close-knit online communities in that cool 90s way that I hope still happens sometimes. Anyway, when I was like 13, I tried to mod Oni a little bit. The one fan-made tool I could find at the time was super rudimentary, and also I was dumb, so all I was able to do was extract some textures. Other people had some amount of luck making custom levels of sorts by messing with mission script files, but generally it was a pretty unmoddable game, so nothing much really happened with it. And then, amazingly, in 2009, 7 years after the game came out, some fans released something called Oni Anniversary Edition, which is this massive patch for the game that adds, among other things, better mod support than most games ever get. It's got new mod tools and a program that downloads and installs and automatically updates mods for you, and widescreen support, and now there's a ton of mods for this 15-year-old game that add better graphics, new characters and new animations, new weapons, new levels, AI tweaks, and there's documentation and wikis and active forums. There's even a functional multiplayer mod in development. There are a lot of examples of games being kept functional and alive by fans years after they've been abandoned by the developers, but this is the only case I'm aware of a mod community being almost non-existent until suddenly booming 7 years in, and I think it's really great. It's sad that more developers don't encourage modding, and I wish we'd have gotten to see what would have happened if Oni had shipped with mod tools, or that Bungie would show some interest in doing anything further with the IP. You can't even buy it anywhere anymore. I feel like nobody knows about this game, which makes me sad for the people who love it enough to be modding it still all this time later, and for the developers who did such an awesome job on it. So maybe go play it somehow, and download Anniversary Edition and install some cool mods. Hopefully this has been interesting. If you like this kind of crap, maybe take a look at my Patreon if you want. Thanks for watching. And if you're a person who worked on Anniversary Edition or any of these cool mods, thanks for doing what you do. I think you're really rad.